episode number 48, Live at the Bike with Mike, Part 2. Welcome to the Heads Up Poker Podcast. This is Steve Barton.
And this is Mike Snyderman.
And we're
Sorry, Steve. Let me clear my throat there.
Okay.
This is what happens when you sleep 3.5 hours a day. Back to my old routine, playing casino cash at the casino all the time. But thank you for breaking me out of my routine.
There you go. You just got done playing Live at the Bike the other day. That was pretty cool. Joe and I were railing you.
That's fun. That was the purpose.
Yes. That was cool.
You might have been the only two.
I doubt that.
Actually, I had one guy from Oceans was watching and texting me. You know, he just kept giving me. He wasn't really commenting too much. He's just like, the guy in seat 9 seems like a douchebag. I'm like, yeah.
That's helpful.
And he's like, please, with the capital letters, please stop looking at your hand until it's your turn. He's big on that. So I don't know.
Huh.
You never know when there's aces under there, Stevie. I get excited.
Yeah. You had a couple of big hands. You had ace king. What were some other hands that you had?
Well, let's get
Joe on. Yeah.
Let's get Joe on here. Let's get someone who knows what they're talking about. For once, let's start that way.
Okay. Let's do
it.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, how's it going?
Welcome.
Joe, thanks for
coming on.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Ooh, Joe sounds tired. Were you late night session?
Yeah, a little bit.
Or is just
pretty
the
much
total and complete boredom you get from talking to us? That's fine.
No.
Oh, I wanted to quickly, Steve. I got a message on Twitter this morning. I can't remember who. Someone was like, how do you get guests? You guys do such a great job. And I'm like writing back, and I'm like, well, Steve does all the work for the show. He works very hard. He tries to find good guests. But then I thought about it for a minute, and I wrote back to him. I said, but sometimes Steve just doesn't give a flying fuck. And today we have Joe LaPinta. Let's continue.
Well, this time it was aimed at you, Joe, instead of me. So.
Oh, that's all right. I'll take it. I'll take some of the heat.
Oh, dear.
Joe, you got
very funny, but he could be such an asshole.
Yeah.
We got to get you on stage, Mike. We really do.
Not infrequently.
Well, you and I will do a trip to New York, and we'll spend the night at Clayton's Club, and we'll just put you up there, and I'll be in the background with fucking rotten cabbage and tomatoes and shit. And
right. Do you know I can throw those back at you, though, Steve? That's the thing. If you get them up on the stage. So, anyways, it was fun playing live. I don't know if you guys were commentating. I don't know if we'll talk about some hands, hopefully. I don't feel too bad about any hands. There's a couple. The commentators alive at the bike definitely didn't like a few decisions I was making.
Oh, you got to talk to him afterwards?
No, if you listen to the broadcast.
Oh, okay.
You can, there's actually commentary, but you guys probably weren't really listening to that if you're doing your own commentary. I don't know.
No, we had it turned off and we were just talking. I haven't gone back and watched it. Have you watched the other feed, Joe?
Yeah, you can sign up for a free month there if you want it live at the bike to look at any of the archives.
Ah, okay.
But
we'll put a link in the show notes then to it.
It's interesting just for the setup. Well, first of all, we played for about an hour and a half before the broadcast started. So someone like early on, I 4-bet with like King 10 and then C-bet. I gave away like $700, one of the first hands. I'm sure you remember that. And this guy was really aggressive. We were playing before.
Yeah.
And I was playing fairly passively during the when we started, especially because we were like 5-handed when we were playing for a while there.
Yeah.
So that's still a bad open and probably a bad move, but that kind of got me in the wrong direction early.
I got that hand written down, actually.
I don't remember seeing that hand. Was during the broadcast?
It was like one of the first hands in the broadcast, yeah.
Okay.
I opened up King 10 off, sort of specifically if one of those guys on the end, maybe this is for the TV camera, I don't know. But no, I mean I wanted to see a flop with it. But once he raised, I kind of knew I was planning on 4-betting. But I guess that's to open King 10 just to hope to have the opportunity to 4-bet is probably not optimal.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I remember that hand. Okay, you were UTG +2. You had King 10 off, and you opened to 35. Yeah, for me right there, as soon as I saw you open that, I think I said something to Joe, and I'm like, "Would you open that there?" And he's like, "No, I wouldn't." And I thought I wouldn't either. But maybe 2 more spots to the left. Are you opening that, Joe?
Yeah, I think I actually said something like, had we been playing longer, so I wasn't aware of how long you guys were playing for. But
Okay, yeah, we thought that was like your third hand.
How people were going to respond. Yeah.
Okay. And that guy, the villain in the blind, I don't know if he was the big blind or the small blind from when he 3-bet me.
He was the big blind.
But he was did a lot of check raising and stuff like that. So if I actually had a pair, you can if you actually hit the flop, you're going to get good value from him, I thought too. So,
yeah.
So it wasn't just randomly, that's a hand I stopped opening in cash games. I really have tightened my VPIP probably from 25 to 15 or whatever it is now, just from staying away from hands like that. But it's just to set up the show, though, it's kind of interesting. Like the guy in the 8 and the 9 seat who had all the money come. First of all, the guy with the tattoos. How much do you think he lost in 2.5 hours of poker? I don't know if you want to take a guess.
I mean, it looked like he probably lost about 3,000.
I was going to say $3,000. Okay, I'll go 301 just to see, and you got $3,000 and below.
Well,
what do we got?
He was down about 6,000 before the broadcast began.
Oh wow!
Oh my God!
So, and I think we were arguing about it later, and then we switched to we played another hour afterwards, and he bought in for another 25. So we were discussing how much he lost, and everyone was guessing somewhere between $10,000 and $12,000.
Wow, that was Cowboy Hat Mike, right?
Yeah, and I didn't get a bloody nickel from him.
Yeah. Well, I saw you get something from him.
You called.
Yeah. Well, no, I got that. But I mean, he was
the ace-10. You almost folded. Remember?
Yeah. Well, I don't think he was ever going to fold that hand. But
yeah, I needed
to. You were thinking about it for a long time.
Yeah, that was kind of embarrassing. But I'm like, it's one of those things where this guy just has to slow down at some point. He can't possibly be bluffing everybody.
But he was.
And this was the first min raise. That was a min raise from him. Mm-hmm. So I thought for sure he had it. But I mean, yeah, you have to call.
You were getting 5-1.
But also on the show, it's kind of funny how this works. The guy in the 8 and the 9 seat were just about the 2 most insufferable bastards I've ever seen at a poker table.
The 8 and 9 seat.
The guys with all the money. The 8 seat had he bought him for like $12,000, so or whatever the most. So he had a lot of money, but he was just one of those people who talked about himself in like the most. Someone mentioned Bart Hansen. He's like, oh, that guy. I doubt he'll ever come in this casino again. I've cleaned him out so many times. Hansen's like owns a training site and stuff, and he's like, David Tuckman has no right to commentate on my poker. He doesn't play at my levels. Talking about how he played AAA baseball but didn't make it to the majors because he became bored with the game and wanted to start a business, which is now worth millions and millions of dollars.
This is seat 8 or seat 9?
This is seat 8.
Okay, seat 9 was the black shirt, the guy that 3-bet you with the King 10.
Seat 9 is the guy I hit in the parking lot later, but I'll discuss that at some point.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. Anyways, just to give the player profile here. In seat 8, then we started talking about he has eidetic memory. So I had to look that up, and it's like remembers every moment from his life, including sights and sounds and smells. So when he was 7 years old, walking he can remember exactly what the sound of huckleberries was or something like that. I don't. But anyways, and seat 9 was kind of funny too because we were playing shorthanded. I was like. He's like, man, I was making jokes. Man, I love this guy. Da, da, da. I'm like, call me Rampage. So that was going around. And then once the broadcast start, he's like, hey, Uber boy. Like you couldn't hear you can't really hear some of the insults he was throwing around there. Like somebody else was started. He's like, mailman, you're not going to shoot me if I win this pot. And then this is like the angle of all. When I drink at a poker table, I don't know if you saw, I was drinking amaretto.
We saw, yeah.
I wasn't getting drunk. But he's like, hey, man, who wants a drink? I said, sure, I'll drink, but I don't drink alone. So Mike was drinking the big Mike was drinking tequila, and
Cowboy hat Mike.
And then this guy orders a vodka Red Bull, and then by round 2, I see him whispering in like the cocktail waitress's ear, and she comes back with a drink, which is obviously all Red Bull. He was pretending to drink alcohol.
Wow.
I said, sir, that's there's no vodka in that Red Bull. I can look just by the color.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I'm not a drinker then. Well, just then say you're not a fucking drinker. He's like, well, I want you donkeys. He's like, I want to get you donkeys drunk, like making a joke about it. But, and I'm really unpleasant dude, I thought. And,
Seat 9?
Yeah, I don't know if you want, and I don't know if you want.
That was, Bear Jew, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard after he, well, we could talk about some of Big Mike's hands. They were just outrageous. He actually called it all in like $1,700 with the ace high. Did you see
with
that?
Ace Jack? Yeah, I remember that one.
Did he call? I thought he just like ripped it in.
No,
he called.
Oh wait, maybe he ripped it in, but it was
he bet. The other guy raised and then raised enough to put them all in, and then he just like snap call. He like looked at his hand and just kind of did one of those like shoulder shrugs and threw his chips in.
He might have re-raised for like an extra 400, but he was the other guy. Yeah, but no. After this guy won a big pot from Big Mike, he's like, hey, you want another tequila there, buddy? And then this guy started getting angry. Someone else got in the table. He's like, you shut up. And it's kind of a lot of the table talk. Although the commentary was pretty good, but
now after that happened, the guy to Mike's left, cowboy hat Mike, and then to his left was a guy with a green hat. He started grabbing chips and he kind of counted them out.
Yeah, there was
Bear Jew slid over some more chips to him. I didn't understand what that was about.
They ran it 3 ways, and they took 2/3 of Big Mike's chips, but it was only supposed to be 1/3.
Oh.
So yeah, the dealer and everyone else at the table somehow missed it, and somehow the older guy there is the only one who fucking figured it out. So we had to.
Oh.
He straightened
I
it
didn't even see it. It looked like he only won one of the 3 runouts.
Yeah, he won the first run out and lost the next 2, right?
But he was explaining it to us. He's like, you each start with this. And he's like, he's like, you each start with 3 chips. And he put the 3 chips next to each other. He's like,
I see.
So he says, you win the first one. So you take your chip and his chip back. You've got 2 chips. Then the other guy wins one. He takes 2 chips. And then, so the other guy takes the last 2 chips. So you still have 2 of the 3 chips you started with because you won one of the other guy's chips. So he only takes 1/3 of his chips. But yeah, it sounds like instinctively 2 out of 3 flips. You say, okay, give me 2/3 of your stack, but it's actually 1/3.
Yep. Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm still not following. What?
Yeah, no, it. So, anyways, I actually.
It's just like, whatever.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I guess I'll just always run it once. Then I never have to worry about it.
So he's saying that if you ran it 3 times and you win one of them and you lose 2 of them, you only lose 1 overall. You only lose 1, unit instead of 2 out of 3 units.
How do you lose only 1 unit if
it was a tie till the end.
You go plus 2 minus 1. Or I'm sorry, plus 1 minus 2. You lose 2, so you go minus 2, but then you win 1 back.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Oh yeah. All right, I get it. I'm back on board.
Yeah, we were so confused watching that. We had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I don't know. Do you want to just jump right in? First of all, you guys having fun doing this, or?
Yeah, it was cool. I listened to a little bit of it afterwards. I couldn't hear your banter, Joe. I was just watching it on Camtasia, so I could only hear my voice. But I think we can maybe make an episode out of it after this one. And, I'll just take some of the interesting hands that you played and Joe and I talked about, and I think it'll work. I don't know if we'll be able to get a video up on YouTube, but I think we can at least get an episode out of it.
So, Joe, you now have to not only endure our presence twice, you have to talk about the same hands twice. I know this is fascinating for you.
No, I actually did really enjoy watching it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah. It was cool.
So, I don't know. Do we want to get right into it? Steve, you have specific hands you wanted to talk about?
I do. One thing I want to go over first, though, is we talked a little bit about the table, but I just kind of want to set a visual scene here so that everyone can imagine it. You were in seat number 3, right?
I was in seat number 3, which for some reason I've always decided is my favorite seat. I chose it, even though I'm a losing cash game player. I don't know why I stick with it.
Right at the get-go, within the first few minutes, I think Joe and I both agreed that you had a great spot at the table. Because in seat 1, he looked like a pro. Is that the vibe you got, Mike?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Then seat 2, he was a guy that bought in for like 600 or 700, then busted, and then went back to the ATM and came back with another 600 or 700, right?
Right. Yes.
Okay. And what was your vibe on him on seat 2?
I think directly to the left of Big Mike would have been the ideal seat, probably. But I don't know.
Okay, yeah, you're probably right.
Or maybe directly to the left of seat 8 and 9. But certainly the guy, yeah, there was four players who were super tight. The 1 and the 2 seat, we're just not going to try to steal. We're not going to get out of line. Neither was the 4 seat, who was just only playing nutty hands. And I believe it was the 7 seat, who again, that was the A7 versus A7 hand. I don't know. Like he only played like 3 hands over the whole 2 hours.
Yeah.
So
that was an interesting one.
So yeah, the seat was good. I mean, I like the table overall. I mean, like everyone was solid. Like no one was going to bluff off their chips, probably other than Mike. But on the other hand, there was like you were not like you're going to be facing relentless pressure either.
Yeah.
And I thought there was a lot of players there. I could just get away from hands. I was not going to pay them off, kind of thing.
And seat, let's see. So seat 4 was the heavier set Mexican or South American looking dude with sunglasses. It looked like a Hawaiian shirt or something, right? He was he was only playing pretty much nutted hands, right?
And he was playing them really passively too.
He wasn't getting full value. Like he was checking on the river with top pair, good kicker when it was obviously good and like that. And then seat 5 was Cowboy Hat Mike, right? And
yes.
That was the guy that lost 10 or 12 grand. Seat 6 was the guy with the green hat, and he played pretty tight, right? The one that was arguing for Mike that he only gets a third of his chips, like that.
For whatever, I don't know if it really. For whatever it's worth, seat 6, 8, and 9 were obviously like regulars who've been like live on the bike dozens of times. I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
I actually recognized the seat 6 just by his name because from watching like Crush Live Poker videos.
Oh, okay.
You know, he shows up in a lot of the live at the bike videos.
Okay.
But he didn't. I mean, I guess he just got dealt out though. He just seemed real tight.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. He only played like 3 hands in those 2 hours.
Yeah.
He was in the blue shirt. Now, seat 8, we didn't notice him too much. At least I didn't. He's the heavier set guy with a goatee and glasses, bald.
He made a lot of money. I can't remember which hand. He's the one who had top set of kings when Crazy Mike shoved in with his queens. I don't know if you remember that hand. He made like $2,000 that hand.
Oh wow!
So
nice.
he was just sitting around waiting for. And he's the one who cleaned out Mike the first time that Mike lost $3,800. I think that might have been kings versus queens too. So he took about 5 or 6K off Mike. So he had a very profitable day and didn't give any of it back. But
yeah, okay. And then Bear Jew, the guy, got a Red Bull with no vodka in it. A vodka Red Bull with no vodka.
Yeah,
he's in seat 9.
One of those guys at the poker table who's like trying to be social, but it's just so fucking false. He's such a vulture that you'd rather he just shut up and wear his headphones. You know, he always says the game's not social enough. Well, anyway, Steve, people can't. Hopefully, they can find this video eventually on YouTube if you get it up, but they're not going to. But anyways, just to break the table down, you've got one really super bluffy guy who's just kind of out of control.
Yeah,
and then
he's 2 to your left.
And then you got a couple super nits, and then you got 6 classically tight aggressive pros is how I would probably describe it. But anyways, so which hands do you want to discuss, Steve?
There's one, the King 10 hand. I wrote that one down. Okay, so your King 10 under the gun +2. So you'd already been playing for about an hour and a half or so.
Yes.
Okay. Blinds are 5-10. You raise to 35 UTG +2. You get 1 caller. the guy on your left with the seat. What would that be? Seat 4.
Did they show his hand? I think it was Ace Jack, wasn't it?
It was Ace Jack offsuit. Yeah. He calls, and then Bear Juice, seat 9. He 3-bets it to 145. He's out of the big blind. Now, what were you thinking when he did that? You've seen him re-raise so many times. In your mind, he could have like 8-6 of hearts here or something, right?
Yeah, I think. Although any sort of reflection on it is all his 3-betting would probably much more. I mean, I'm fairly early position. Basically, this hand's just really bad. He was 3-betting. He was isolating Mike, early on when everybody saw that Mike was the fish. So he'd be 3-betting Mike in position quite wide, but he's probably only 3-betting me for value there.
Okay.
Although not necessarily. And if I think that's the case, I should be flatting then and just playing a pot in position and floating and then trying to steal it. I think the 4-bet just doesn't really accomplish much.
Okay.
Unless I could justify that I'm setting it up for being able to play my big hands aggressively later. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm openly saying here, but that he does have some 3-bet bluffs in his range, so I'm never taking it down with that 4-bet. And what was my sizing? Let's just ask Joe about that sizing there. If that
I actually don't remember what the sizing was.
It was 285.
You made it 135.
He made it 145, and then you made it
285.
285.
That's it. I just clicked it back. I thought it was a little more than that, but I could be wrong.
Well, the board
I'm sure.
Say 285.
You're probably right. Yeah.
I mean, I think the sizing is actually fine. You're just trying to basically like get it heads up with that guy, with a lot of your 4-bet range, and he's not going to be too likely to fold when he 3-bets out of the big blind anyway. So I think it's fine to make it small, and you're just going to win the pot a lot post flop. But I do think that he's pretty unlikely to be liked there, just because he's 3-betting out of the big blind and you are raising from early position. He can just easily complete with his suited connectors and things like that.
Right.
Yeah. Stop the action right there. Take a flop and not have to invest a bunch of money with 7 high.
And of course, discussing the previous action, like I was not. He was loose aggressive, but on the other hand, I was tight. So my openings, he's not going to think I'm, opening ace-3 off kind of shit, you know what I mean, or king-10 off. So, just a bad spot. Yeah.
Yeah, and towards the end of the broadcast, they went over everyone's VPIP and PFR. I didn't see any 3-bet percentage up there. Did you, Joe?
No, I don't think they showed that.
Yeah, but you were pretty tight. I can't remember your numbers exactly, but I thought you were like a 15-12 or something like that.
Well, yeah, it's kind of funny when they showed my numbers. No, it was more like I want to say my VPIP was like pretty high, like 25 or 30, but my pre-flop raise was low. That usually
was it?
That usually means you're kind of not playing well. You're not taking charge of hands. But I mean, I had a lot of times where someone would open early position. I'd get like 10-8 suited on the cutoff, which I just would I want to see a flop with.
Yeah.
So I was calling a lot of other raises. I don't know if that means I'm playing too passive and not taking charge of hands. I think once with like 10-9 suited, I did like raise an early position limp or something. There's a couple times where I took my hands I want to see a flop with and took charge of. But yeah, anyways, the king-10 hand, he calls obviously. Steve,
Yeah,
I don't know. And at this point, there's a little about 600 in the pot.
Yeah. He calls. You do get the ace jack out though, which is good. We go to the flop, and the flop is 9-8-3 rainbow, 1 spade.
Obviously, I'm gonna c-bet every time here. Hope he's got ace king or maybe a small pocket pair he's trying to hit a set with, and felt me. But yeah, I think pretty standard. I bet 350. He calls. And I'm done with this hand, to my credit.
Yeah.
The commentator is kind of funny. He's like, they gave me some credit for being on the next hand when I check back. They're like, well, Snyderman knows he has either 10s or jacks here, or Mike S knows he has either 10s or jacks here, because it's pretty much And then when it check on the river, I said, your jacks are good. I don't know if they hit that. That would have been, I would have rather, can't hear the audio of that. But I would have felt a little smart with that. But, yeah, I thought, that's the one hand I really don't like how I played. I think that might have been a TV hand. No, I mean, I do the same shit when the TV's not on, but, anyways, I mean, it was pretty, I think we've discussed it. The pre-flop decision-making was, Joe, do you ever give up? Of course, you really don't find yourself in spots like this, 4-betting King 10, but would you ever just give up on that flop and try to save yourself money if you really think he's in a strong range?
I'm probably always going to bet once. I mean, you shouldn't, I mean, I'm not 4-betting that often, so if I do have a bluff, I might as well, go ahead and c-bet because my 4-bet range is going to be really, really strong.
Okay.
And, you can still get some folds from some like ace highs. So,
right. And if there is a queen, king, or ace on that board, I probably take it down. I don't know. He might stick around. But this was the wrong villain to certainly barrel away because they're like, I hope he doesn't barrel away. This is because they've seen the guy. They're like, Bear Jew's never folding jacks here.
Yeah.
So, especially when at this point, he's already pumped up pretty good, I think, with chips. And you get the sense he's got one of those guys who's got 10,000 in his pocket ready to throw on the table. So, anyways, yeah, that might have been my worst played hand of the night. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it was a good give up. So, I mean,
yeah, it was. We were both like, don't bet the turn, don't bet the river, chill.
Right.
But, yeah, right on. There's another one.
By the way, I had bought in for I think 1,600. When the broadcast started, I had about 2,300, and after that hand, I was down to my original buy-in or so. I think so. Anyways, not that is. I don't know if that's relevant, but next hand.
Okay. Next hand is with Peter. Now he's the guy in seat 7 with the blue shirt, sunglasses. This is the A7 hand. You guys remember that one?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Peter in seat 7. He raises to 30. Hero, Mikey. What position were you in? Do you remember on this one, Mike?
Probably the hijack or something.
Yeah, I was thinking like cutoff. Okay.
Well,
all right. So you're in late position.
I can't remember. Yeah,
late position. And you call with ace of hearts, 7 of hearts, and the big blind throws another 2 chips in there and completes. He throws in 20 and completes. So what are you putting their ranges on Peter up in the guy that opened? This
guy did not play a lot of hands.
Yeah.
So he's got big aces and pairs and I guess suited aces, obviously. Like I didn't basically, but a suited ace is always a good obviously a hand to get paid big on. If that's an unsuited, if it's unsuited, I'm probably even folding ace jack there.
Yeah.
I don't know about Joe. Is calling the ace 7 suited fine?
I think calling is fine, yeah, and I like the idea that you can fold ace jack offsuit because I think that's going to play pretty poorly against his EP range.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I'm not going to go crazy if an ace hits the flop against this guy for sure. I mean, he's only going to get one street out of me probably.
Now, what are you doing with ace queen off there? Are you just calling or are you 3-betting against him?
I'm probably just calling.
Yeah, me too. Okay. Yeah, ace king we're always re-raising, right?
I mean, you can make a case for calling with ace king too. I mean, depending on the player and like where he's opening from, you might want to flat ace king just to kind of keep all his weaker hands in.
Yeah. Okay.
Keep some of his dominated hands in. So I could see flatting ace king there too.
Okay. Even though you're kind of inviting the blinds to.
Yeah, I mean, because you remember, like, Mike is behind you, so you definitely don't want to like force him out of the pot.
Yeah, good point. Yeah,
I mean, you want to keep him in the pot as often as you can.
Yeah, you want to be playing almost anything against that guy.
Right.
Okay. All right. So Mikey calls. Hero calls with ace 7 of hearts, and the big blind comes along. We go to the flop. There is 95 in the pot. And with the hero having 2 hearts. The flop is the 5 of hearts, 5 of spades, 3 of clubs. So it comes down rainbow. It's 5-5-3. The big blind checks, and villain bets 45 into a 95 pot. What were you thinking here, Mike? Backdoor flush?
Backdoor flush, and I just thought this is a guy I could. I don't know what's his bet sizing.
45 into 95. So
I guess it was standard. You can't read that.
Half-ish.
Yeah, I guess this would be the standard floating with the backdoor flush and the ace high in position. You know, I could catch. And this guy would seem like he was just would shut it down to a lot of turn and river cards. And if he's got just a big ace, then I'm gonna win the pot every time with a bet on the turn.
Okay. And what are you thinking there, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking the same thing. I think the float is really good. I think you have, pretty good backdoor draws, and you're going to be able to rep, a pretty wide range. So on the turn when he checks to you, I mean, it's going to be kind of just open season. You're just going to be able to bet and win the pot a lot. So yeah, I mean, I like the float, especially if you're going to call with that hand pre-flop. I think you should definitely be floating it.
Yeah, okay. You got to win it on times when you don't flop the world.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And the big blind folds. Ironically, the big blind. You know what he had, Mike?
No.
Pocket sixes.
Yeah.
I was surprised. Yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah. I saw that.
Yeah, that was
the commentators were saying, which I thought this was interesting. The commentators on Live at the Bike, but pretty sharp, and they're saying he should either raise or fold here. The call is the worst because there's so many bad cards on the turn, and you're not gonna. So I thought, yeah, pocket sixes there. I don't know. Would you have raised, Joe? Just.
I'd probably just fold.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was bad fold. I was thinking of raising. Leading or check raising.
Yeah, it's just you're against the guy on your left who is just one of the tighter guys at the table. So
okay.
when he opens early position, I mean, six is just it's just like a pure set mine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I think I probably just fold.
Okay.
Especially when Mike overcalls. I mean, it's like a really awkward spot to have sixes. So.
Yeah. Okay.
So what is the turn there? I can't remember.
The turn is the 4 of spades. So the board now is 5 of hearts, 5 of spades, 3 of clubs, and the turn is the 4 of spades. So now we have 2 spades up there. Hero has 2 hearts, so our backdoor did not come in. And what were your thoughts on the turn here?
When he checks, I think he doesn't have a pair, doesn't have a big pair. He's got like 8s, 9s, maybe 10s, and he just doesn't want to play for all his chips. Yeah, he just doesn't have an ace.
Okay.
I mean, he just doesn't have a pair when he gives up, or he's got a smaller pair of some kind. I wasn't thinking draw because I just wasn't thinking of the suited ace, so that obviously was what he had, and I don't think he's opening small suited connectors, so he doesn't have that kind of draw either.
Okay. What?
But basically, I mean, my plan was hopefully he would just bet one street and kind of give up. So once he checks to me, it's not even about. I mean, you're always going to be ranging him, but it's just kind of about following through with the plan and trying to steal the pot now.
Yeah. Okay. So what sizing are you going to do here, Joe? If you got a pot of 180, 185.
I'm probably going to bet something like 110.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be too big because he's gonna have just a lot of give ups.
Okay. Unless what did you bet, Mike? Was it 120? I'm trying to do the math here.
I want to say, I mean, 115 is the number that jumped to my mind, but it would have been over 100. I think if I bet like 85, 90, I'd worry about his big aces sticking around.
Okay.
Yeah.
220. You bet 110. I just did the math right now.
Is that what
I had the pot number and the pot on the turn and the pot on the river, and then
You see,
Okay.
mediocre minds think alike there. Me and Joe,
Okay, so you bet 110. Villain calls. Okay, so what range are you putting him on now when he calls your turn bet?
I thought he had a pair, maybe. I thought there was still a chance he was sticking around with an ace high, but I wasn't sure.
Like ace queen or ace jack or ace 10 maybe?
Yeah, I mean, it occurred to me that there's a chance he's playing a big pair in a slick manner, just trying to get money out of me.
Yeah.
But he just looked like he didn't love his hand. That was my overall instinct.
Okay. And what range are you putting him on when he calls the turn, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of thinking along the same lines. I'm thinking mostly small, like medium-sized pairs, so like 7s through 10s or something like that. I think probably like some of his bigger pairs, he just goes ahead, like jacks, he probably feels the need to protect a little bit, so he probably keeps betting those.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking, as soon as he called on the turn, I was thinking, all right, this is going to be a great spot to go pretty big on a lot of rivers. So.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
That's what I thought too.
Yes. Okay, so the pot is now 405. We go to the river, and the river is the king of spades. So the final board is king of spades, 5 of spades, 4 of spades, 5 of hearts, 3 of clubs. We got backdoor spades came in. So what are you thinking on the river, Mike, when he checks to you? He checked. He didn't check right away, but he did check fairly fast.
I thought it was a great river for me because I did not think he was calling the turn bet with like ace king ever.
Okay.
That particular player. I mean, if he's a thinking player and I bet big here, he's going to be, well, how does he have a king in his range unless he's just trying to, steal it and got there. But I think he's almost, if I had to bet big to push him off a pair is what my thought was. And okay. I thought he would be folding every underpair to the king to the big bet is what I was thinking. So, yeah, like 7s through 10s with Joe's first instinct was, yeah, that was my thought, is that he now has an underpair to the king. And he's just not going to be able to stand up to the heat of a big bet.
Yeah, okay. You bet almost pot. Yeah, it was like 405 in the pot, and you bet 390. And yeah, it was that was cool. Unfortunately, Villain did have it. He had ace of spades, 7 of spades, so he backdoored the nut flush.
And he was still. I don't think he was trying to induce. He didn't want to bet his flush and get raised.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
if you ask me, that was his. The commentators are like, I wonder if this player's picking up how spewy Snyderman is or something. I think like that's why he was really checking. Funny,
I kept telling Steve, I was like, oh man, I really like this play. I really like the way that Mike played this hand. It's just unfortunate that this guy shows up with ace 7 of spades.
Yeah.
I don't know. You had the volume off, but I said like twice, and the camera clearly heard me, and the guys commented. I said, any other card, that's my pot. Any other card, that's my pot. And they're like, he's right. So they at least acknowledged that it was, I don't know. I mean, I guess, I think if he has pocket 9s, I think the bet sizing on my part is significant. I think he might call for 220, but I think he folds to the big bet. That's my instinct.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think I thought your sizing was really good in that spot. I think you can rep so many strong hands, and he really can't. I mean, it's pretty surprising that he shows up with the hand that he does, because that hand should be barreling,
right?
To get you off of like 8s and 9s.
Yeah, he should have been. He should have. You would have barreled with that card every time, right?
I mean, that is like the gin card for his hand.
Right.
I mean, gives him a double gutter and the nut flush draw.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You want to get some money in there and hope I got 10s and hit or push me off. Like you said, you can double, betting turn and rivers. I'm certainly probably going to have to fold my 8s. So.
Yeah.
So what is the next hand, Steve, where I threw money into the poker economy?
Okay, let's see. This one's kind of interesting. I don't have the exact amounts written down, but maybe we can screen share right here and watch the hand real quick, and then talk about it.
Oh, sure. Hold on.
Okay. Okay, you guys can see my screen now, right?
Not yet.
Okay.
Okay, now I can.
Okay. Can you
Okay.
see the screen, Mike?
Yeah. Oh, another thing about the broadcast, which was funny, was we were warming up. I was joking. I said, "Please call me Rampage." Like I'm trying to get that nickname out of there. Although Carlos is the only one who will fulfill my desire to call me that. So on the Savage, he's like, believe it or not, this guy wants to be known as the Savage. They mixed it up. So like I'd win a small pot. He's like, oh, he took it down savagely. And somebody else on the table was calling me Happy Gilmore. They're like, Happy Gilmore makes sense for this guy. He's not the Savage. Tell him the Savage is 2 to his left, where Big Mike was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see this pot. Okay, I have no idea what happens in this pot, but let's see. Oh yeah, this. Yeah,
you remember this hand?
Yeah, I get 2 pair here, I think. Right?
Okay. Yes. All right. So we've got you're in the hijack. Okay, let's start off. Seat 8. He raised to 20. Bear Jew in seat 9 calls 20. It folds around to you in seat 3, and you've got 10-8 of hearts. And you also
this is actually a good squeeze spot. These guys have been seeing every flop pretty much, or quite a few.
I was just gonna say that right now. I didn't notice this in game when we were watching, but I think you're right. What do you think, Joe? Is this a good place to make it 115 or something? Or
yeah, I think this actually might even be a straddle here too. So this might just be like a straddle and then a limp.
Yeah, I bet you're right. Yeah.
In which case, I think it's a really great spot to just go ahead and ISO.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
It is 10-8 suited though. Is a great hand.
Yeah,
it's a pretty hand.
So you hate it if you want to see a flop against pocket aces with it. For some reason, somebody wakes up with a hand. But yeah, I think I was playing a lot of hands like this where I probably should have been a little more aggressive pre-flop. But
I don't think it's too bad just because. All right, so I mean, we're gonna probably hit on this point the entire time, but Mike is behind you, so I don't really want to force him out of any pots.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, how does having that one guy change your overall strategy? I mean, you don't you want to have him alone with you pretty much, but on the other hand,
yeah, I mean that's gonna be like pretty tough to get when he's on your left, but.
right.
I mean, that's going to change my 3-betting strategy a lot. I'm probably not going to 3-bet very much because I'm just going to want to keep him in every single pot.
Right.
You could probably still raise this and he'll still call with a lot.
Right.
So, I mean, you could still probably raise this hand, but yeah, I'm probably going to be flatting a lot more opens as opposed to just 3-betting.
Okay. All right.
So
okay, so Mike calls, and it goes to Mike, cowboy hat Mike.
he's in the pot, sure, of course.
He calls with 6-5 offsuit, or you know what? Maybe we shouldn't say the hands of the other guys. Huh? What do you think?
Well, no, it's fine. We got to remember people aren't looking at this though. Just 5-way to the flop. I have 10-8 suited.
There we go.
And
5 players.
Yeah, that's all you need to kind of know here.
And the flop is 10-9-8. So hero flops top and bottom pair.
Somebody bets. I forget who. Is it?
Let's see. Bear Jew bets 45. So what are you thinking here? You're like, I just got him crushed, right? That's probably your thought.
Oh no, I think it's actually the straddler, Josh.
Yeah.
Josh, you're right.
45.
Okay, seat 8.
He's got a straight draw.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty, especially in a 5-way pot. This is a pretty must raise spot. I don't think that's too, unless there's someone behind you who you think is going to repop.
Yeah.
And I got no reason to believe that. So yeah, I'm just trying to take it down here and happy. I mean, I'm hoping someone plays back at me probably here, but I'm always raising here, right, Joe?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you just don't want to let people just call with all their Jack X's and 7 X's and things that have really good equity against your hand. But
okay. So seat 8, the small blind checks. Seat 8, the straddler, he leads out for 45. Bear Jew, seat 9, calls 45. and then now it's on Mike. So the pot's 155. What's your sizing here, Joe?
Let's see, 45 into 150, or the pot is 155 after the 45?
The pot is 155 after the 2 calls, yeah. Or after the bet and call.
I'm probably going like 175.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, no, wait, I'm sorry, it's 2 calls.
155 is now in the pot when it comes to me.
Okay. I'm probably going 175.
Really? You'll overbet the pot?
That's pretty
It's
much.
not really, it's like a pretty standard size, I think.
Okay.
It's not really an overbet because when you put in the 45, there's going to be 200 in there.
Okay. All right. It's on Mr. Snyderman. And what sizing are you pulling out here? Raise to 75.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yes.
nice. Very good.
This is getting creepy here. Now, how a cash play, and I'm a losing cash player when my my bet sizing is so good. But actually, the one I wonder, I'm not going to study this meticulously, but I do wonder, especially in tournaments where all these guys take exactly 12.3 seconds to act and stuff. I wonder if I give a lot away with, like, the smart, experienced players can really read if I'm bluffing or have a strong hand. I mean, you guys were just breaking down the hands, so you wouldn't notice, but I'd be curious if there's anything. Like, these guys all insta-muck. Like, don't you maybe for the jack re-raise to see how much I like hand? I mean, I might have the pressure of just a 10 there. I'm going to have to fold to a re-raise, probably.
I mean, maybe the king jack bulb like outs to the nuts. If you ever have like, I don't know, queen jack or jack 10 or something like that. But I mean, it's pretty tough to call with just a jack.
I could already be there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they'd have to have at least a pair plus draw or
right.
something like
But
that.
do you balance your are you someone who tries to work real hard to balance their raising, calling time and all that kind of stuff?
I usually take my time. I don't think I really try to balance it, but I think I just don't make any snap decisions because I think people read into snap decisions a lot.
Okay.
So yeah.
I wonder. Looking at the screen, it looks like I immediately reached for my chips. It was pretty. Anytime you raise away pot, it's so strong. Yes, it's
Yeah.
Havels there, so it's. Yeah. Okay. What makes sense, Steve? You think is?
Okay. Next, and this one's kind of interesting. Let's see. Okay.
We really should be talking about all the big my hands, but I want commentary on my own play.
No, this is good. You're getting some good coaching here from a guy that.
In defense of Big Mike, he did have 2 pair. That guy was rivered like a couple gut shots and fucking the one jackass and seat.
Yeah.
So you're kind of feeling bad for the guy, you know?
Yeah. What did he ever say what he did for a living?
He said he used to be a registered nurse.
And wow.
Somebody made a joke and he immediately pulled out his registered nurse card and flinged it across the table for me to look at, even though I wasn't the one to make the joke. But so I don't know what he. You always funny. I don't know if Joe, you've ever had this. Just it occurred to me again last night. I was playing. You're playing at like a 5-5 table, and all of a sudden, some guy has a story of a $47,000 pot he lost. And it's always believable, though. I mean, people do have. At one point, they had a lot of money, and now they don't have a lot of money. So I think Mike had a couple stories like that. You know, I was playing 20K in this Omaha game, and and it's hard to imagine this guy ever having a big bankroll. But like I said, the TV camera might have affected his decision making here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm assuming that his money didn't come from being a registered nurse.
Yeah.
I'm assuming if he has money, I mean, even to lose like 10K in this game, you know, that's like a lot of money for just like a normal person.
He might have. I mean, this might have been like his Christmas gift to himself. Like he's been watching the Live at the Bike for years and saving his money, which makes it even sadder. You know what I mean? He wanted to have some classic bluff pulled off on camera.
Maybe.
And yeah, I don't know. Oh yeah, this is kind of an interesting hand too. Like this one here.
Yeah. Okay. So seat 2, the guy that just to your right that had busted, gone back for a few $100 and then come back. It's on him.
Yep.
And he raises to 30. You're in 3, button +2, under the +2, and you've got King 10 of spades, and you like to call here.
Is that a raise or fold, Joe?
No, I think that's fine. I think calling is fine.
Okay.
Really? UTG +2?
Yeah, because this guy's got less than 100 big blinds. So it's not like people are going to be squeezing they're like real wide. I mean, if they're paying attention. He's also opening from like under the gun 1.
Okay.
So it's yeah. I mean, I think it's fine to just flat this and hope to go multi-way.
And again, the big Mike rule here. We just want to see flops. We just want to see flops for cheap that he's in.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, every single pot you play against Mike is basically a pot where you give yourself a chance to win, $2,000.
Right.
Yeah.
So to risk 30 with that, with that possibility is going to be fine.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So UTG +1, he makes it 30, and his stack size, he's got 72 big blinds. He's got 722. Mike has 2.5K, and it folds around to the seat 4, who throws in a call. He has ace queen of diamonds.
I thought squeezed. Okay, he calls. Yeah.
Oh wait, maybe you're
no,
right.
No, he
you're
just
right.
calls.
He does squeeze.
He raised to 105.
Okay. Yes. So seat 4 raises to 105.
And now I remember this hand. I remember my thought when this guy just flats here was.
You were like, no, stop.
What is going on? Why are you flatting?
Yeah. Okay. So it folds back around to under the gun. +1, and he flats.
He just flats with his kings against a tight player who 3-bet him, who has a very strong range, who might go with it if you re-raise.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah. So right here, what are you guys thinking as far as sizing? Okay. So there's 180 in the pot because he opened with kings. He opened at 30. Mike called. Seat 4. Seat 4 raises to 105. And he's sitting here out of position for the rest of the hand with pocket kings.
Well, there is no sizing question. He just flats with his kings.
But what would you raise to if you were to raise?
Oh.
If you were in his shoes.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird spot.
You can go anywhere from like 300 to just a shove, I guess.
Yeah, it's almost shoving might be better than than popping it for half your stack here. I don't know. But if he thinks, I mean, I would definitely be re-raising or shoving, so I don't know.
I was thinking shoving just because, like, if let's say you go real small here and you only make it like 220 or something, just basically a click back, that gets you out of the pot, Mike, and then, I don't know. I think shoving might look weaker. That would look so nutted, wouldn't it?
Well, he took the worst option is all we know here. Yeah, I guess he's got 722, so if he could raise to 240 and the ace queen could think he still has fold equity. He's not necessarily going to say he's got just his aces or kings.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
What do you think of that, Joe?
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I don't think it's going to matter too much just because he is raising off of like only 70 big blinds and this guy is 3-betting from, early-ish position versus your, under the gun raise. So like his range is just going to be really, really strong. It's not really going to matter what you do. You just have to raise something.
The only question is the other guy who's probably been sitting here for an hour without many hands wants to go with his ace queen pretty much suited.
Yeah, I mean that's like probably one of the weakest hands that he's going to have here, though. You know what I mean? Like, what else is he going to be 3-betting in this spot? Probably just pairs and then like ace queen suited and ace king.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I'm certainly going to complete here. I think every time.
Yeah.
So
he calls and then you call. Yeah.
Just to say that I'm a competent player here. Obviously, I'm thinking flushes and straights here, and not let's hit a pair.
Yeah. Okay.
So and I had an opportunity for both, as we'll find out.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I like to see it. Okay, so we go to the flop. There's 330 in the pot. And the flop is ace of clubs, 6 of spades, 3 of diamonds. So you got a backdoor straight draw and a backdoor flush draw.
Right.
Okay.
Goes check, check. Goes check, check, check.
Yeah, so pocket kings checks. The ace out there.
Did we just see I think we just saw a little video clip of the pocket king is leaning back in his seat and putting his arms up in the air. But, you can't blame the guy.
Well,
but obviously the 3-better should be, I mean, it's such a dry board. His ace queen is so strong. Would you check behind there too?
Yeah, I actually think that's pretty good.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, it goes check, check, check. And the turn is the Queen of Spades. So the board is now Ace of Clubs, Six of Spades, Three of Diamonds, Queen of Spades. And so you picked up a gutter ball and a flush draw. Were you what were you thinking when the Queen of Spades came out? Gin?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, yeah, I didn't think there was an ace. I didn't think either of them had an ace either. I don't think. I was kind of, or there was a decent chance of that.
Okay.
So that's how I'm going to at least defend my bet here.
Okay.
Not only the big draw,
Okay.
but there's a chance that either have an ace and one of them has jacks and one of them has tens or something, and I might just be able to take it here. But
Okay.
yeah, I guess that turn is probably good for their ranges too, though. So
Yeah.
but I decide to try to take control of I decide to bet at the hand. The king's checks, and I decide to bet. I don't know what's about that.
Yeah, that's good. I'm certainly not worried about C2 because when he checks twice in this board, it's just just not going to be a very strong hand. Yeah, I mean, I'm only really worried about the guy on my left, and I'm probably going to bet pretty big here on this flop because if I get called by the guy on my left, I'm probably not going to be bluffing the river.
Okay.
So I could even see going bigger than 175. I could see something like 225, 250.
Yeah, if he just flatted and I brick the river, I'm done with it.
Yeah.
He's got an ace, and I think, yeah. I mean, if I wanted to get really cute and thought he was, again, the big bet, would be maybe an option, but, so what did I bet? I bet 175. I bet just over half pot.
Yeah, there was 330 in the pot, and you bet 175. Okay.
And the three better pops it to what was it, 475?
Let's see here. You were still in pretty good when he leaned back and.
Well, it was obvious he had a monster hand. The commentary said never before. He's like, "Get ready for Hollywood, people," and he leaned back, and it was which is actually good news for me here because I know he's raising.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping it's just not so big that I can call and hopefully hit him. Here you want him to have just the absolute top of his range, pretty much.
Yeah.
Right.
So, freezing. He makes it not super big here. He makes it 475.
Makes it 475.
So
yeah.
just to win the pot, never mind implied odds. I'm almost getting enough to call here. I think it's Anyways, I have to call 300, and there's right now 980 in the pot, and obviously I think the jack, of course, is the hand I'd really be rooting for here.
Right.
Because then there's a good chance I take his whole stack, or at least I'm going to get the maximum. I'm going to bet 900 on river and get called.
Yeah.
The flush.
You got 2.2 in your stack now, and he's got 1.2K. He's got 1,200.
Yeah, basically, I'm hoping to put this 300 in to win 2,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think it's I think he's got more than that. I'm looking at his 100 chips up there. It looks like he's got 8 or 9 of them at least. I think.
What are the blue chips?
Those are just the $1, but it looks like he's got 9 or 10 pinks and then 500 in the other one. I could be wrong, but I think he maybe has a little bit more. Not that it really matters.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. Yeah, because let's say that's a grand, those pink chips, then he's got 4 stacks of yellow.
So, Joe, am I getting the right? Do I have to call here, or would you sometimes fold?
I'm calling every time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if this guy was, you think, like an A+ player, who's gonna just not pay you off with the flush.
I'd almost rather him be an A+ player, honestly, than this guy.
Okay.
And the reason for that is that I'm going to, regardless of the river, I'm going to be checking this river. I'm going to be looking to check raise. And my concern is that this guy, and I'm pretty sure we end up seeing it in this pot, I'm afraid that this guy may check back really strong hands.
Okay.
Which is obviously like a disaster.
I was good. If I hit my hand, I was going to bet it. Is that what you'd be thinking on the turn when he calls?
Probably versus
he raises. Yeah.
Yeah, I might. If I hit a spade, I'm probably going to bet it versus him, and if I hit a jack, I'm probably going to check.
Okay.
But like I'd almost rather a better player because a better player is going to be value betting the river much more often than this guy probably will be.
Okay.
Yeah. Now here, okay, if there's 1,300 in the pot, villain, let's just say the numbers are correct, and he does have 1.2 behind. What are you betting if a spade hits?
Probably like 800.
Okay, almost putting him all in.
Yeah, I mean you could probably shove, but I think 800. Like I think a shove to say all in like these cash games, it just looks so strong.
Okay.
And it looks like you just have such a a disregard for the amount of money.
Okay.
But when you like make it something that's not a shove, it kind of leaves the possibility that maybe you're trying to save money on a bluff or something like that.
It's
Okay.
the opposite. It's the opposite of tournaments. When someone says all in, we think it's actually can be a weaker range. Like in cash games, people just assume that's the stronger.
Yeah, when you see people just say all in, I mean, this is like obviously a very, general statement, but a lot of the recreational players, when they say all in, if they're not, specifically guys who will bluff a lot, it's just going to be so much stronger than when they just like bet a number.
Okay. Okay.
I wonder if there's any. I don't know if a queen. I might have lost money if a queen came on the river, not knowing his hand. Of course, is there any hand where you miss and you try to steal it on the river, or you pretty much know the guy's so strong that you got to hit your hand to bet here?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm putting him on like a set here. Like
Okay.
Ace Queen is actually like, yeah, I mean that makes sense too. But I'm thinking like a set of aces or a set of queens.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And so now, if a jack comes, you said you'd check. So you're betting a spade, and you're going to bet about 800 into a 1,300 pot if a spade comes. What are you going to bet if the jack of clubs rolls off, or the jack of diamonds, or?
I mean, if your plan is to just bet, I mean, you can just shove.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's never ever going to be able to fold on an offsuit jack.
Okay. Okay. Would you ever check the jack there and then let him bet, and then you check raise him, or?
If it's a better player and we have more money than just like 1-to-1 on the river, then yeah, I'll definitely just check raise.
Okay.
My plan was to bet either if I hit the straight or the flush.
Yeah.
I
think that's fine.
I was going to bet and bet big because like you said, the raise on the turn. He's got like two pairs, like you said, the worst hand he has.
Yeah. Yeah. Villain, I was like, what the? He just
checks back the river.
He checks back the river. He does it pretty quickly. He throws down his hand, knowing it's the winner. But I guess he didn't bet there.
Yeah.
He was afraid that you were gonna. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we saw that earlier too from him, didn't he?
Yeah, we
do
did.
that with Ace King on like Ace King Queen.
I think he did. Yeah, he had some nutted hand, and or at least really good that he definitely missed a value bet on the river. I remember thinking that.
They were actually discussing that because there's a live people tweet at the people who are doing the commentary, and they're like, "Well, I guess Mike S could have a set like 5% of the time defending him," and a few people tweeted in. He's like, "He never has a set because
you're just gonna 3-bet.
I would be shoving it in on the turn,
Right?
Trying to get it in, yeah. So, yeah. Although in his mind he just won a big pot, so
yeah.
it's a good hand. It's a good result.
I got supersonic speed that I used to run to you. I stretched my arms for miles and miles.
This is a pretty long episode, so what I'm going to do is cut it into two parts. It looks like Mike and I are both moving, and I want to make sure that you have an episode to listen to every week. Once I get established and get my office set up in the new house, and have my poker room up and internet set up and all that, then I'll be recording again from there. But and same with Mike. But we're front loading these so that you guys have one each week. We've been getting a lot of email and tweets and Facebook, and thank you. That's really cool. It's really cool. It's good to know that you guys are enjoying the show, and because we're having fun too. This is really cool. It's been a lot of fun. If you could rate and review us on iTunes, that would be awesome. Move us up a little bit higher in the ranks when people type in Poker Podcast. What you do, log into your iTunes account, type in Heads Up Poker, click on the Ratings and Reviews tab, write a little review. throw in 5 stars, and we'll read it on the air. And if you really want to take your game to the next level, it's really easy. And all it is listening to a little meditation hypnosis tape before you start your play. And that's by Elliot Rowe. You can access his site by clicking on the show notes. You can get a free MP3. Or if you get some of his other ones, he's got MP3s for everything. He's got online cash and MTTs. He's got live cash and MTTs. He's got ones for confidence, motivation, recovery, studying more, volume maximizer. After listening to the volume maximizer one, I always play 4 tables, and I just fired up 6, and it felt natural. These things really, really work, and I would not endorse him. I would not do this if I didn't really believe deeply in what he's doing. He's got ones for bankroll management. Mike could probably use that one. Dealing with downswings, folding when you're beat, letting go of mistakes, anxiety buster. They work. They work. When you do get one, make sure you type in the coupon code HeadsUpPoker, and that'll do 2 things. One is it'll save you 10%, so you get to save some cash. And number 2 is you'll help out your favorite podcast. So, thank you for tuning in, and here is your weekly motivational speech.
This is what I believe, and I'm willing to die for it. Period. This is what you love. This is your passion. Step back. Don't judge it. If you judge it, judge not yet, lest ye be judged. Why? Because when you judge it, you invest emotion in it, and that emotion could be anger, and guess what? That hurts you. That doesn't hurt anybody else.
Earn the most you possibly can. Be the most you possibly can. And here's why. The essence of life is growth. The essence of life is growth, to do the best you can. And here's what's interesting. Humans are the only life form that will do less than they possibly can.
I'd rather lose out on my dream doing the right thing than to cheat, trying to make a shortcut to get to my goal.
My best advice for you is to choose the all. Earn all you can. Make all the friends you can. Read as many books as you can. Develop as many skills as you can. See as much as possible. Do as much as possible. Make as much fortune as possible. Give as much of it away as possible. The max. There's no life like it. I'm telling you, once I got on track, I've never looked back.